Yes, good evening, dear students and the teachers that have joined in from the different parts of the country. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for keeping time. We want to thank all of you for joining this session. Thank you so much for keeping time, and thank you so much for sacrificing your evenings to be here with us. I've disabled some features on the call such that we don't have any interruptions during the course of the seminar. But allow me now to ask a volunteer from any of the schools, but I can ask from Kanjuch Secondary School if you can get for us a volunteer to lead us in a word of prayer. Any volunteer from any of the schools, Kanjuchi? Kanjuchi? Yes, I want any volunteer. Hope you can be able to hear us. Yes. Okay. Mr. Ambasan, kindly let me know. Are you able to hear me well?
I'm hearing you well. Stephen, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes. Are you able to hear me well?
Yes, I am.
Okay, okay. Yes, I was asking any volunteer from one of the schools to lead us in a word of prayer. Okay, Kanjuchi. Okay, let me, Kanjuchi, kindly let me lead us in a word of prayer.
Let's humble ourselves and pray. Heavenly Father,
Kanjuchi, go on.
Excuse me, we are praying. Others, let them mute their microphones. We are praying.
let's humble ourselves and pray. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this moment you have given us. It has been by your grace and by your power. That's why we are here, Father. Father, as we are going through this seminar, Father, let your Holy Spirit lead us, Father. Father, welcome upon you to come and lead us through this period, Father. For by your
Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen.
Okay, thank you so much, Kanjuch, for the word of prayer. And I want to thank all the teachers and all the schools that have joined this session. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for sparing your evening to be here. So today we are going to look at geography. And in case you have some questions, kindly we shall ask you to ask those questions at the end of the session. But also, I know our facilitator will be entertaining the questions at an appropriate time. Allow me now to invite our facilitator, teacher Stephen Mansan, to take us through. Mr. Stephen, you are most welcome.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, very good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Donald Mbasani. Let me try to share my screen here. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see it clearly.
Clearly, yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody that is on this call, I'm particularly excited to see Panyango SS in Pakwach. I have been to Panyango, and yeah, I like the discipline of the children there. Kindly say hi to Father. He's my personal friend. I'm excited to see you on this call, Panyango SS. This afternoon, I'm privileged to be back here. I was here last year when we were looking at the old curriculum, and yeah, it is now gone, and here we are in the new curriculum. Today, I will be sharing with you what I have in trying to manage the paradigm shift in assessment of geography under the current curriculum. I'm normally hesitant to call it a new curriculum because I think it's now the current curriculum, the curriculum in force. So today, we shall be discussing the paradigm shift from the old curriculum to assessment in the old curriculum to assessment in the new curriculum. My name again is Stephen Donald Basani. I am a teacher here at Kololo Senior Secondary School. The objectives for this session will be mainly to share information. Yes, sir.
Is it possible to put it in the full view?
I put it
in the full view such that it can appear well on the screens.
I put it in what?
Full view, like I want you to go to full view, like when it is appearing, when we are not seeing.
Put it in,
Okay.
I'm not
now, are you seeing this down where you have the
guide.
Where you have click to add notes down there? You
Please,
move your.
Ziva.
I'm saying.
Steven.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
I'm hearing you now.
Yes, are you seeing where you have notes, comments down? On your screen, PowerPoint. Down this side where you have notes, comments. Down.
Where?
Now there is that icon. No, the next icon. That one. Place that one, yes.
This one?
Yes. Place it.
Slide.
Yes. Yes, place that icon.
Okay. I've pressed it.
Yes, now it is very clear this side.
Is that better?
Better.
Steven, is that better?
It is much better. It is much better.
Okay. Okay, is that much better, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, fine.
Okay, so, and I was saying that the objectives of this particular facilitation is to share. We want to share information, we want to share presentation skills, we want to share approaches, and we want to share resources in handling the paradigm shift, one in test development, but also in assessment of competence-based curriculum in geography in 2 papers. Sections A and B, and it will have constitute 2 sections, A and B, and it will have only 6 examination items. Section A will have 2 compulsory items, as we are going to look at it, and section B will have 2 parts, that is part 1 and part 2. And the learners or the candidates will be required to attempt 1 item from each part. In all, the learners will be required to attempt 4 items in all. I am mentioning this because it is important for us as facilitators, colleagues who are on this call, and you, the candidates, to understand this, because it is important for you to avoid infringement on the rubric. What do I mean by infringing on the rubric? In the past, we had the infringing on the rubric simply means infringing on the instructions. For example, you'll get an instruction that will require you to attempt only 1 question in part 1 of section B. Some candidates will attempt 2 questions in section B, meaning one of the questions will not be scored. That is what we mean by infringing on the rubric. Rubric is the instructions that you are going to be given on the examination paper, and these are some of the instructions you will have: to attempt 2 questions in section A, and to attempt 2 questions in section B, while selecting 1 item from each of the parts. Meaning section B will have 4 questions. That is question 3 and 4, which will make up part 1, and 5 and 6, which will make up part 2. Of course, 1 and 2 items, 1 and 2, will be in section, and they are compulsory. This is very important for you, the candidates, because when you infringe on the rubric, then you can Okay, am I back? Stephen? Are you able to hear me? Hello, Stephen?
Yes, Mr. Mbasane, I can hear
Am
you.
I? Okay, fine. I think
Yeah.
the network is not very stable, but
Okay.
let's try to deal with it as it is. So I was explaining that know why my thing is not moving. Okay, it is now moving. I have explained the structure of the paper briefly, just in case there are any questions. I think they will come. And now I was trying to explain that this evening, I am going to dwell much on items 1 and item 2, which are the compulsory parts of this paper. Item 1 is basically going to be an item on MAPO skills. It will have one scenario question, and part A will be testing MAPO skills mainly, while part B will integrate topics from the element of construct 2. And those are the topics I've listed there. We have them in the syllabus book, and that's the earth and its movements, weather and climate,
Are you sharing?
and natural. Yes, please.
Are you sharing your screen?
Yes, I'm sharing.
Oh, share again. Share
Yes,
again.
I am.
Share again.
I share again. Oh. Is it there now?
Yes. Now, just take it to full view and then we continue. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I was explaining that today I mainly dwell on item number 1, which principally deals with the MAPO skills. And like I was explaining that it will have one scenario item and it will have 2 tasks. Part A will mainly be testing MAPO skills. And the MAPO skills we have taught you in class, as I have listed some of them here. We have, for example, taught you the MAPO skill of measurement of linear features on the ground. We have taught you how to determine bearing. We have taught you how to calculate area occupied by regular shapes. We have taught you grid referencing. We have taught you drawing sketch maps. We have taught you drawing cross sections. And those are the skills that are likely to be tested or that are going to be tested under part A of item 1. Item B of item 1 will integrate topics from one of the elements of construct, and that is mainly the element of construct 2. And the topics that are integrated in map of skills are the ones that I have listed above. One is the earth and its movements, weather and climate and natural vegetation in East Africa, climate change in East Africa and the world, major climate zones of the world, further skills in map reading and map use, and then climate and vegetation of Africa. In the current curriculum, there are so many terms that are coming up now, and the teachers and the learners ought to get used to them. We now have terms like construct, elements of construct. These are not a big deal. A construct simply means what we expect a geography learner to be at the end of senior 4. And a construct can be picked from the rationale in the topic in the syllabus book. It can be picked from the themes. It can be picked from the from the competencies in the syllabus book. So this should not be big deals. The question for us as your facilitators, your teachers, is that after teaching you the 31 topics in the syllabus book, what kind of geography learner are you expected to be? One of the constructs of geography, for example, is that the learner, a geography learner exiting senior 4, should be one that has got the ability to use the environment sustainably. That is a construct. It is an expectation that we have, that when you leave senior 4, you are the person who is going out there and you are going to be able to use the environment sustainably. That is why during the teaching of most of these topics that we are teaching you, maybe industry, fisheries, resources, and so on, we look at the problems caused by those things, caused by the human activities, and topics that have got related learning outcomes, topics that contribute to each other. So when we talk about a construct, we are talking about the broader picture. Finished studying, learning, and understanding the 31 chapters in the syllabus book. An element of construct constitutes those topics in the syllabus book that have got related content, related competencies, related learning outcomes. I would give you an example maybe of mining. When you talk about mining, when there's a mine is going to attract an industry. An industry will attract population. Population will lead to urbanization. So you will discover that those topics have got related competencies, one leading to another thing, or even the effects, one effect leading to another, and that's what we are calling elements of construct. Like when you look at the slide before you, when you talk about climate, you cannot absolutely separate it from natural vegetation. Natural vegetation has an influence on climate. Climate has an influence on natural vegetation. Therefore, these topics which have got related aspects or aspects that bring the content that we teach together have been put together and that's what we are calling an element of construct. Geography has basically about 4 constructs. On another day, I will share maybe the different topics under the different constructs. But I thought I needed to talk about it because these are terms that are coming up, and sometimes they confuse us as facilitators, they confuse us as learners. But this was specifically addressed to the colleagues, the teachers who are on this call, that elements of constructs is the overall. You can develop your own construct for your school and say, for us in Panyango SS, this is what we expect a senior 4 candidate who has passed through our school to be. So it is important that as teachers, we get to learn about the constructs and the elements of construct. It is going to help us, especially in developing test items. It is also going to help us during teaching and learning process. Support material for that particular item. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about item number and MAPO skills, or MAPO use and MAPO skills. The support material for that particular item is mainly going to be a MAPO extract, a survey MAPO extract. The one we know, the one we have always been using. That's going to be the basic support material for that item. However, it may have other support materials related to the integrated topics in part B, like you have like climate statistics. For example, I would give you a map, maybe of AMDAT, and also give you a climate statistics from AMDAT. And I may require you to be able to compare the climate, rather to compare maybe the vegetation on the map with the climatic data in the table, because climate has not been put under the element of construct where we are applying statistical diagrams. So most likely you're going to find climate data being integrated in MAPO skills. I could get a map, say, of Cotido, and I also get the climate statistics. I get the climate statistics for Cotido. And therefore, when you look at the vegetation, you should be able to compare or to be able to create a relationship from the climate table with the type of vegetation that is found in that area. Basically, that is what we have been teaching you when we are talking about the relationship between climate and natural vegetation. We normally relate it to the parameters of climate. For example, what is the influence of rainfall on vegetation? And we normally say, for example, areas that receive heavy rainfall have got tropical rainforests. Areas that receive moderate rainfall, their characteristic may be of woodland. Areas that have got maybe little and unreliable rainfall characteristically have got scattered trees, short grass, something like that. So I'm saying that for item number 1, that is map skills, basically the support material for this item will be a map extract. However, don't get surprised if you find that we have got some support material. Somebody is saying that the sound is not clear. Am I clear, ladies and gentlemen? Steven? Hello? Hello? Somebody kindly. It is clear. Okay, great. That is good. Thank you, Esther. And so I was explaining that the support material for item 1 is mainly going to be a map extract. And then there could be some other related support material, which may be derived from some of these topics here, which we have listed here under the item of construct, where these items are being got. So having said that, now let me take you to the items in part one. I'm saying item part one, like I have already noted up here, that item one will mainly be testing MAPO skills. It will require the candidates to apply MAPO skills. I want you to note the word apply, because that is going to be the center of activity, your ability to apply the skill. And that is why I have marked it in red and underlined it. And this is what I want the candidates on this call to take home tonight, that in item one, part A, I will be required to apply. If you don't mind, say it in your heart that I will be required to apply MAPO skills. So in applying, again, I want you to note the second thing. The MAPO skills, I've already gone through them. What are the requisite MAPO skills that we have taught you? We have taught you bearing, calculating measurement of distance, calculating the area, drawing the sketch maps, drawing measure the distance of the road, determine the bearing of point A from point B, calculate the area occupied by the lake. Ladies and gentlemen, under competence-based, we may not have such questions. You are going to be given a problem and you will be required to provide a solution while applying the skills that we have taught you in class. Application. And therefore, talking about application, I'm going to over-insist on this, that you are going to be required, one, to critically think and unpack the scenario. Unpack the scenario and ask yourself, what is it that this scenario requires me to do? Which MAPO skill? Which MAPO skill? Somebody is saying they are not getting me clear. Could be. Is it my network again? If you can't hear, please tap on the Wi-Fi icon on the screen. Okay. Okay, I hope the majority of you are able to still hear me. Okay, so I was telling you that in the past, we asked your colleagues, the ones who left the other year, who were saying determine the bearing of point A from point B. Determine the distance of the road. No, that kind of testing is getting out, because right now we are training problem solvers, that when you wake after studying the 31 topics of geography, you are a problem solver. You are able to use the knowledge of bearing to assist a pilot. You are able to use the knowledge of determining distance to help me understand how much distance I may need to cover in a given, maybe in a day. You should be able to use the knowledge of area, calculating area, maybe to advise a surveyor, to advise a traveler. We may not ask you to draw a sketch map of the area shown on the map. No, that kind of testing is certainly getting out of order. It may not come again. So students, dear students who are on this call, I want to request you to start applying this knowledge, because the items that are coming before you are items that are going to be providing problems in form of a scenario. And your duty as a learner, your duty as the test taker, will be to unpack that scenario by asking yourself, what is the MAPO skill that I'm required to apply here to be able to provide a solution to this person? I will now go ahead and just give you one example here. For this item, that is item 1. Today, I'm concentrating on item 1, and that is the item on MAPO skills and their application. I've given this example here. For this item, use the East Africa 1 to 50,000 Uganda map extract of Lukaya. Y732, sheet 79/2, edition 3 USD. And the information in the text below to answer the tasks given. Let me share with you the text. I will give you 1 minute to read through. Somebody wants to read for us? Somebody who may want to read for us? Hello? Somebody, Stephen, you will help me manage. Somebody on call who wants to read for us? Okay, Busavi, SS, raise the hand. Okay, Busavi, SS. Busavi, unmute and read for us. Stephen, are you there? Kindly unmute Busavi. Busavi, raise the hand. Hello? Is there anybody reading for us?
Yeah,
Okay, come.
from Busabi, item 1
Yes, please.
says Uganda Motorsports Association is organizing a safari rally in Lukaya. The motorists are expected to use Mpungwe, Nabusanke Road. James, one of the safari rally drivers, is new in the area and is going to use the route for the first time. To plan his drive well, he needs to understand the amount of time he will spend. He drives at a constant speed of 2 kilometers per hour. Task: determine the amount of time you will need to spend on the drive.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard that scenario there. And now, let me give you the support material. The support material is here, and the support material is a map extract of Lukaya. This is what you see here is the Nabusanke Mpungwe Road. We are saying James is expected to go through this road. Which map of skills do you think you will need to apply before advising James about the amount of time he needs? Any volunteer there? I could take you back to the scenario if you want. The scenario is there. The Uganda Motorsports Association. Wow, somebody says bearing St. Leonard. What skill, what map of skill do you think you will need to be able to help James understand the time? Yes, St. Leonard. St. Leonard, kindly unmute and tell us. Okay, somebody from help. So everyone says measurement of distance. Thank you very much for that answer. Measurement of distance, good. Good. So, where has it come from again? I need to remove this. Measurement of distance. Now, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for those responses. Now, in this scenario here, nobody has asked you to measure distance. But to be able to advise James, you must be able to apply the skill of measurement of distance. You are not going to advise James accurately unless when you are able to apply the skill of measurement of distance. So under the current dispensation, it may be very difficult for us to be able to ask you to determine the road distance. No, we shall provide you with a problem like the one which is here. James has got a problem. He is going to be driving along that road there, along the Navsanke Pungwe Road. He does not know the place. That is the problem. He lacks knowledge of the amount of distance he's going to drive, and therefore he's asking you as a person who has studied and understood the concept to help him determine the amount of time he will need. Whereas nobody has asked you to measure the distance. For you to be able to help James understand the amount of time he will need, you must apply the skill of measurement of distance. So don't expect questions that are going to come like determine. These questions are going to pose problems. We are teaching problem solvers. You are expected to leave Senior 4 when you have the ability to apply these skills to help a person in a problem like James is able to understand or to help him, to be able to advise him, to be able to guide him on the amount of time he needs. The learner, the student, must have understood the concept of measurement. So I was just giving you here some of the expectations in a question like that one. Now, this is how you are going to be assessed. For us, in the class, we have already taught you this, that to measure, you must be able to apply some tools of measurement to establish the distance, for example, of a rod. And those ones we told you that you'll use a pair of dividers, you may use a straight edge of a paper, you may use a string, that for you to be able to determine the distance, you must have the ability to use the linear scale. Because where do we normally take the straight edge of the paper after we have measured using the straight edge of the paper? We normally take it down to the linear scale to be able to determine how much distance it is. So we are expecting you to have learned and understood the use of the linear scale in determining distance. We are asking for you to be able to advise James very well. You must have the ability to apply mathematical computations of division. That how do I get time? You should be able to divide the amount of distance you have got by the amount of speed. James has already told us he is able to drive 2 kilometers per hour. So for me to be able to advise this person, I must be able to apply mathematical computations of division. Or even to understand that to be able to arrive at this, I need to divide the distance that is going to travel with the speed that he's moving at. We are testing the ability to state the time using accurate units. For example, there's this learner who is going to calculate properly the distance. And instead of telling us that this time is in hours, this time is in minutes, he'll tell you he's going to spend 2 kilometers per hour. He has not given you the accurate units. Dear students on this call, I'm now advising that as you step into the mock exams, as you step into the forthcoming cycle exams, what we shall be looking for is your ability to apply the knowledge we have just been giving you in class to be able to solve, and you are required to drive in an area maybe where you have never been. That is a problem already. So you as a person that has been in class, studied and understood the concept of measurement, we are saying you should be able to critically think, you need to determine the time, but at the back of it, I must apply a certain macro skill, and that is the skill of measurement. A person that is unable to measure the distance, definitely they will not be able to determine the amount of time that James needs. So that example one is simply intended to help you understand how we shall require you to apply, for example, the concept of measurement of distance. I would also pretend to just remote control of the screen. I don't know why remote control. So I would here insist on the fact that you will need to apply these skills. Having said that, let me move you on to another example. You will be telling me how it moves. Okay, that one we are expecting to use the skill of measurement. And what I'm giving you here are the assessment notes. How are we going to score you? If the learner has got an accurate answer, it means they have got the skill of the use of measurement tools in determining the distance. If the learner is going to come up with an accurate distance, it means they have understood the use of linear scale. If the person is able to come up with the accurate time, it means they have the ability to apply the mathematical computation of division. And a good person is not somebody who is just going to say 2 hours, 2 times. No, should be able to use accurate units in telling us time. Maybe it will be in minutes, maybe it will be in hours, so that the learner is competent in the application of the knowledge of measurement. Somebody is playing on my screen. Suspect this is patterned. Okay. So now let me take you to this other example. Somebody, oh, okay. I have another example here. Somebody unmute and read for us. Somebody to read for us. Hello. Somebody to read for us. I'm giving you another example here. Example 2. Unmute, please, and read for us. Somebody wants to read for us? Okay, who is reading for us? Somebody over there. We are waiting. Members, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, great. Esther, unmute and read.
Basani is a pilot. Basani is a pilot flying an aircraft in the area of Lukaya. He is expected to fly a visiting priest from Lukaya town's center of grid reference 750844 to the church south of Kankombe, grid reference 877937. He does not know the exact location of the church. He is stranded and needs your assistance. What kind of assistance can you give him?
Thank you. Thank you for reading. Thank you very much. Now, the scenario is there. Let me give everybody 1 minute to read through and try to conceptualize it. Basani is a pilot. He's flying an aircraft in the area shown on the map extract. And that is the map of Lukaya. He is expected to fly a visiting priest from Lukaya town center at that grid reference to the church south of Kankobe. That's grid reference that. But he does not know the exact location of the church. He is stranded and needs your assistance. What kind of advice can you give him? Now, the question is there for all of us. Which map or skill or skills do you think you will need to apply before guiding Basani to the church? Thank you very much, UMS Computer Lab. Thank you, Esther. Bearing, yes, good. Any other person with a different view? All right. Bearing, thank you, Mr. Iga. Thank you, Kanjuchi Secondary School. Bearing. Now, you will notice that, okay, there's a new concept there of direction. What kind of advice? Distance and bearing, okay, good. Now, in this question here, what I wanted us to understand, nobody has talked about bearing, no. In the past, for your friends who went the other side, we used to ask them that one. Determine the bearing of Lukaya town center from the church, or the bearing of the church from Lukaya town center. This time, no. This time, we are looking at your ability to solve a problem using the knowledge we have taught you about bearing. And this is what we are pushing for you to be able, very good grid referencing, because if somebody has not understood the concept of grid referencing, then that person will not be able to locate Lukaya town center and will not be able to locate. So, am I off again? Are you hearing me, members? Am I off? Hello? Hello? Are you able to hear me? Okay, there we are. Are you hearing me? Looks I'm off again. Members on the call, please assure me that I'm still with you. Hello. Hello. Steven. Ladies and gentlemen, are you with me? I can't see. Are you with me there? Oh, I can't see the messages. I can't hear you. I cannot get response from you members. I'm asking whether I'm still on. Are you able to hear me? Yes. Okay. So I was explaining that in this particular scenario, nobody has asked you about direction. Nobody has asked you to determine the future at this grid reference. No. But the learner must have understood the concept of, for example, of ability to locate places using a grid reference system. If I have not understood that concept of the grid reference system, definitely I will not be able to locate Lukaya town, and I will not be able to locate the church at Kankobe. I should have understood the skill of determining bearing. Actually, now I am seeing from the responses, I should also be able to determine the application of the skill of using a compass to determine the direction, to be able to direct Basani to pilot the priest and take him to the area where he is supposed to be. We are testing the ability to use mathematical instruments to establish angular distance between two places. In this case, your ability to use a protractor. A learner who doesn't have the ability to use a protractor definitely will not be able to determine the angle, the angular distance. We are looking at your ability to state the angular distance using the correct units. In this case, in degrees. So it is our expectation that the learners will be able to apply MAPO skills, the different MAPO skills that we have taught them. They should be able to interpret the questions and apply MAPO skills to solve the problems. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be very difficult for you to find the questions which are asking you to determine the bearing of the church from the trading center. But it does not know the exact location. So for you, you are going to be able to determine the angle and advise Mbasani that when you, from your area, take the north point, and when you turn 40.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, so it's getting back. It's having some network issues. Mr. Amberson, unmute. Mr. Amberson, unmute.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Amberson, you are clear.
Okay,
Share your screen again.
okay.
Maybe also, Mr. Amberson, is it possible that we have your video off? Maybe we see how the network is going to be.
Okay. I want to remove my video. Okay, is it okay now?
Yes, you are clear.
Okay, I see Odravo with the hand up. Odravo. Odravo. SS. I see the hand up.
I think Mr. Stephen, let us
unmute. And
unmute.
Okay. Vale, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I was guiding that it may not be very, very possible for us to find the question that, for example, I'm going to ask you to determine bearing. No, but it is going to be a problem, like you see this problem here, and you are required to apply the knowledge of bearing to help Mbasani understand that he needs to turn from Lukaya town center. He needs to turn at an angle of 65 degrees to be able to safely land at the church south of Kankobe. Okay, I will now take you to example number 3. Example number 3. Somebody read for us. Somebody please put up your hand and read for us. Anyone participant there to read for us? Okay, 4 participants raise their hand. Somebody unmute. Steven, help me unmute one of them so that they can read for us.
Your surveyors have been tasked by Lukaya district authorities to map out the size of Lake Victoria. They are able to determine only 2 kilometers squared per day. How many days will they require to complete the work?
Thank you very much. There's that other scenario there. Let me give 1 minute to everybody to internalize it. We have a group of surveyors who have been requested by Lukaya district authorities to map out the size of Lake Victoria. They are able to determine to map out only 2 kilometers squared per day. About how many days will they require to complete the work? Let me take you briefly to the map extract again. And here we are having the map of Lukaya, and this is Lake Victoria. The district authorities of Lukaya want to map out the size of this map, and they have hired surveyors to do it. These surveyors can only do 2 square kilometers per day. About how many days will they require to complete the work? Now, let me again put the question. Which map skills do you think you will need to apply before guiding the surveyors on the number of days? Which map skills do you think you will need to be able to apply before you guide Kanjuchi Secondary School race? Somebody says distance. Okay, thank you. Distance. Use of scale. Very good. Somebody else. Okay. Finding the area of irregular object. Calculating. Very good. Thank you very much, Kanjuchi. Nobody in this one here. In the past, we used to ask your friends, the ones who left the other time, we would ask them to determine the area occupied by Lake Victoria. We would say, calculate the area occupied by Lake Victoria. That kind of development of test items was actually knowledge-based. Those people had known that, yeah, when you do this, you get the area. For you, we are teaching you, I'm talking about the learners on this call, to be problem solvers using the skills that we have taught you in class. In this case, for you to be able to advise these surveyors well, like you have already put it to me here, the learner should have known the skill of calculating area of an irregular what? An irregular shape. So we have already given you the formulas of how to calculate area of an irregular shape. Can somebody here please tell us the formula for calculating, for determining area of an irregular shape like the one we are seeing on the map extract? The formula. We have already taught you in class. Ebenezer raised up their hand. Ebenezer, what is the formula for calculating area? Unmute, Ebenezer. Yes, please, Ebenezer. Please come. The formula, yes, for determining area.
Number of full squares.
Yes. Number of full squares plus the number of half squares. Somebody with a different view there? Yes. Tell us the formula for calculating, for determining the area. Okay, I see here in the chart, somebody says we get the full squares plus the half squares, and we divide the half squares by what? By 2. In this case here, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the guidance we are giving you, that please, you may not find tasks which are going to ask you to calculate the area occupied by the lake. No. We are going to provide you with a problem, just like you see this problem right here. These surveyors have got a problem. They don't know how many days they will require to complete the work. As a somebody who has studied and understood macro skills of measurement of area, this task now is requiring you to be able to apply that skill of measuring the area of the lake, divide it by the amount of days they are able to work in one day, and advise them that this area here is 10 kilometers squared. If you are able to do only 2 kilometers per day, like we are seeing here, then you will need 5 days. The learner is applying the skill of, we have taught them in class, the macro skill of counting the full squares, counting the half squares and dividing them by 2, calculating the area occupied by 1 square, multiplying by the number of squares they have counted, and be able to determine the area. After determining the area, they will be able to advise these surveyors that you will need 5 days to complete the work. So questions like determine the area occupied by Lake Victoria, determine the area occupied may be history. And these are the expectations we want you to go with, as you said, into the examination rooms. In competence-based, we are testing the ability of application of skills and not the mere knowledge of the skill. And you are going to apply these skills by advising people, by helping them understand how much they will need to travel, by helping them understand how much they will require to do a BCD, because that is what you face every day in the contemporary what? In the contemporary society. So in this case here again, these are some of the expectations I came up with. These are now the assessment criteria here. The learner should have the ability to use macro scales to calculate the area of an irregular shape, because you are simply going to count the squares. And that's why we normally ask you to be able to determine the area occupied by 1 square before you multiply it by the number of squares that you have counted. The learner should be able to apply the formula. And all these, ladies and gentlemen, you will do it on your examination paper. Don't say for competency, I'm just going to apply. I'm just going to write. No. Please calculate, tell us, state the formula that the area of this lake is equal this and this. To determine this and this, I should be able to understand, to divide the total area and the number of kilometers these people are covering per day, and therefore arrive at 10 days or 5 days. We are testing your ability to accurately count the full and half squares as a requisite procedure of determining area on a survey map. Certainly, a learner who is unable to count accurately will not be able to come up with the correct what? With the correct size of the map. And therefore, most likely, will not give us an accurate what? Answer. We are testing the ability of the person to state the area using correct units. We shall have some learners who will say the area is 20 kilometers. Another area will say the area is 20 kilometers squared. All of them have got 20, but certainly one of them is stating the area using incorrect units. So these are our expectations, ladies and gentlemen. It is important for us to learn that under competence-based test assessment, you are definitely going to be finding problems, and in these problems, we shall require you to be able to use the skills that we have taught you in class to be able to solve these problems. So the questions, like we used to say, like for this one, would have simply asked you, determine the area occupied by Lake Victoria. No, this time we are giving you a problem, and the solution, for you to arrive at the solution, you should have the capacity to apply the skill of determining or calculating area. So this is what I'm putting at the back of your mind. Please get ready to read the scenarios. After reading the scenarios, identify what skill am I being asked to apply. It is then that you are going to give us the correct responses. Don't get shocked with these scenarios. You need to get used to them, because that is what competence-based is about. Having finished that one, I now want to take you to another area. Again, still under item 1, section A, testing MAPO skills. And I've already noted that one of the skills that we shall test, or which will be assessed, is the ability of the learner to apply the skills of drawing a sketch map, drawing a cross-section. Again, I want to note here that in the past, we directly asked your friends who left, draw a sketch map of the area shown on the area of Lukaya. On it, mark and name the following features. For you, maybe not. We are not going, that kind of assessment or that kind of test development is getting way out of the way under competence-based. Because we are again going to give you problems that you will need to provide solutions by drawing. You will need to provide solutions to problems where these skills here are applicable. Maybe you are not going to find a situation where we are going to ask you to draw a cross-section, no. But you must critically think. You must critically think and tell yourself that, no, for me to provide a solution for this task, for me to provide a remedy for this, I need to draw a sketch map. For me to be able to advise these people about this and this, I need to draw a cross section. I will give you an example here. That's now example number 4. I want again to request a participant there to read for us. Visitors, you have raised your hand. Please read for us, visitors. Visitors. Visitors.
Part of Lake Victoria.
Okay, read now.
Part of Lake Victoria occupies the area of Lukaya as shown on the map extract. It is a habitat to a variety of variable fish species.
Unmute and read.
The local community in the it's unmuted.
Teacher Marshall. Teacher Marshall, unmute and read for us, please. Hello.
Part of Lake Victoria occupies the area of Rukaya as shown on the map extract. It is a habitat, a variety of fish species. The local community in the area carry out fishing activities as a way of life. They are often challenged by bad weather and poor equipment, which leading to accidents. The Red Cross Society of Uganda information that one of the fishing boats has capsized on the lake. They have dispatched a rescue team to help the victims. The team has little knowledge the area. Task use a relevant illustration to help the rescue team.
Thank you very much, Marshall. Okay, a few missing words there, but thank you for fixing them in. It should read, part of Lake Victoria occupies the area of Lukaya, as shown on the map extract. We can go to our map extract and look at it. The map extract is there, and this is the Lake Victoria looking at. We are saying that part of this lake occupies Lukaya, as shown on the map extract. This lake has a habitat of a variety of valuable fish species. The local community in the area carry out fishing activities as a way of life. They are often challenged by bad weather and poor equipment, leading to accidents, or which leads to accidents. The Red Cross Society of Uganda has received information that one of the fishing boats has capsized on the lake. They have dispatched a rescue team to help the victims. The team has little knowledge of the area. What do you think would be the relative illustration for you to be able to help these people? Hello. Members, you are not typing.
Which map? Yeah, they have read them.
What do you think? Or somebody put up a hand in this question for you. Very good. Drawing. Yes, drawing.
Excuse me, Mr. Embasani, what's going on?
Hello? Hello. Are you seeing my screen?
Teacher, we can't see your screen.
Are you seeing it? No?
We are seeing it.
Teacher, we can't see your screen.
You are seeing it? Okay, let me look for it again.
Teacher, it's there now.
Is there now? Okay, good. So I was explaining here that you will need to explore the scenarios. You will need to unpack them. You need to discover the skill that is being tested, the competence which is being tested, so that you are able to make relevant responses to this task. So, like I was explaining, for this particular task here, nobody has asked you to the Red Cross team. You should be able to draw a sketch map to direct them, a sketch map showing routes. That if, for example, our sketch map, for example, if this is the Lake Victoria, where we are having the accident, and that if somebody, for example, is from this side here, from Mpungwe, show us with the arrows that there is a footpath which will connect you to what? To the lake. Should be able to tell us that if you are coming from the Navsanke side, should be able to indicate this one here, the road, indicate the lake, indicate the landing site here because it is an entry point. That's the candidate who is critically thinking to provide a solution to the Red Cross team, which is going to help the accident victims, but has got little knowledge about the area. So again, I'm cautioning that you may not go to the examination room expecting people say, draw a sketch map of the area shown on the map of Lukaya. On it, marker and name physical and man-made features. No, you are definitely going to find a problem in the scenario. Your duty is to unpack the scenario. You'll unpack the scenario by finding out which competence to help this rescue team. What do I need to do? When you recycle, when you go back through your map of skills that we taught you, then you should be able to know that the relevant illustration to help these people should actually be a sketch what? A sketch map. So what are our expectations here again? I'm just guiding you that the learner in that situation should be able to apply the map of skills of drawing a sketch map of the area. In this case, we shall be testing the ability of the person to apply the knowledge we taught them about drawing a sketch map. For example, we already told you that a sketch map should have marginal information. Marginal information simply refers to what we call the qualities of a good map: the title, the frame, the compass, the direction, and we shall score you for that. That what are we looking for this map to be able to guide the rescue team? It should be able to show the scene of the accident. Should be able to show Lake Victoria because it is the scene of the accident. Are we looking at from this learner this question? Should be able to show the routes leading to Lake what? To Lake Victoria, because this is the guiding map. How are these people going to enter this place? They should be able to go. They should be able to the learner should be able to identify and locate the landing site as a key entry point to that area. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, it is my counsel for you to understand that we may not find questions that are going to directly ask you that draw a sketch map of the area shown on the map extract. No. Most likely you're going to find problems that require you to apply the knowledge of drawing the sketches that we have taught you in our geography lesson. So prepare for scenarios. Every scenario will have a problem. Your duty as a learner is to unpack the scenario. Unpacking the scenario means you are able to identify the problem in the scenario and be able to conceptualize. I see case, raise your hand. You have been raising your hand for a while. Please, if you are there, please ask. See case. Chibuka Secondary. Somebody help me. Steven.
Can you explain with some working?
Yes, please.
Can you explain with some working?
Can I explain with?
With working.
I'm not hearing your question.
Can you explain with some working? Can you explain with working?
Hello? Working?
Yes.
With working?
Yeah.
For example, working a sketch map?
Yeah.
A sketch map?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you didn't know how to draw a sketch map. But in this facilitation, I intended to give guidance on the expectations. When you are drawing a sketch map of an area shown on the map, hello?
Yeah.
I assumed that you had been taught how to draw a sketch map.
Yeah, we know how to draw it.
Hey. Okay. So I was in this particular facilitation. My thinking was that I've already been taught these skills. That you have been taught how to measure distance. But these are critical issues that can be noted by HELP, and the HELP can organize lessons for us to start from the first principles. Maybe of teaching you how to draw sketch map, how to draw cross section, how to measure distance. So in this case, I'm facilitating you with at the back of my mind, hoping that you have been taught how to draw a sketch map. But a sketch map simply has a frame, and then you have to give us some of the features. Maybe the thing which would have required the working would have been the calculating the area. I asked here, and the people actually helped me here. They told me the formula for determining the area. And I thought that, okay, people were following up there. So if you were expecting me to do the calculations here, well, okay, that's something to think about. In the next presentation, I will provide the solutions, but I hope for now you get the concept of the nature of tests that you are going to find. That was the basis of this particular facilitation, but not to teach a concept because it may take us a very long time teaching how to draw a sketch map, how to draw a cross section, how do we calculate distance, how do we... Okay, so in this particular, I'm now talking about the skills of drawing. I started with the other skills of calculating and determining. I'm now talking about the skills of drawing or using relevant illustrations. I'm using this word relevant illustrations because you are going to find that the use of the word drawing will slowly be withdrawn, because we want to give you opportunity to have a broader thinking about what the task requires you to draw. I have already given an example on a task that may require you to draw a sketch map. Let me now take you to another task, which may require you to draw another relevant illustration. Again, let me call upon a volunteer to read for us. A volunteer on call. Hello. Volunteer on call. Please put up your hand and read for us. For 9 participants. Stephen, kindly unmute one of them.
Trade between the people of Wera and Tinzi has been restricted by the presence of a swamp and a forest. The Works Department of Lukaya local government plans to construct a bridge to promote trade in the area. They are proposing the area between grid reference 760930 and 830930, but have little knowledge about the area. Some of the members of the community are, however, opposed to the proposed site. The team needs to understand the nature of the landscape to build a safe and efficient bridge. Thus, use a relevant illustration to help the team from the department who works understand the nature of the landscape of the proposed area.
Thank you very much. In the past, for your friends who left the other years, maybe let me ask, what map of skill or skills do you think you will need to help the team understand the nature of the landscape? What map of skill? When we talk about the nature of the landscape, we are talking about the relief of the area. So what I have Soga College Mwiri. Soga College Mwiri. Unmute and tell us, Busoga College Mwiri, what kind of map of skill will you require to be able to show those people to understand the nature of the landscape? Hello. I'm unable to see my charts. Okay, somebody unmute, please, and answer my question. Stephen, if you are there, kindly help out.
I think the skill that is needed is drawing a cross-section area.
Thank you very much. In the past, we asked your friends, we would have told them to draw a cross-section of the area between grid reference 760930 and 830930 and show the nature of the landscape. On your part, you may not receive those kind of questions. Like I have said, we are going to provide you with a scenario. In that scenario, there will be a problem. You are expected to unpack the scenario and be able to identify that competency that you are being required to exhibit. In this case, like you have rightly said, I think that was Maureen, that yes, to be able to help these people understand the nature of the landscape, should be able to draw a relief or a cross what? A cross section. So these are our expectations, that for you to be able to help people understand the nature of the landscape, you should be able to draw a cross what? A cross section. But in all this, we are telling you, we are giving you a problem, and the cross section you are going to draw is going to help these people. Some of the members of the community are opposed to the proposed site. The team needs to understand the nature of the landscape before they start on building the what? The bridge. Therefore, it will be your duty to apply the skill of drawing a cross section so that these people can see the nature of the landscape. In there, what are the assessment points? When we were teaching you how to draw a cross section, we told you the qualities of a good cross section. That a good cross section should not be over exaggerated, and therefore it should have a certain height, 5 to 6 centimeters. A good cross section should have a consistent vertical scale. To apply the skill the way it is expected to be applied, so that what they are drawing is irrelevant. This is the marking point, is a relevant illustration. If somebody draws a cross-section which is not accurate, then it cannot be a relevant illustration. If somebody draws a section and it is shorter than the grid reference points which you have put there, then it may not be a relevant what? A relevant illustration. So, ladies and gentlemen, in a task like this, you will be required to apply the knowledge of drawing a cross what? A cross section. And when you're drawing a cross section, like I've been saying, then we need to see the title. What are you drawing and what does the drawing show? Is it shaded? Yes, because that's a principle. We are shading because this area is underground. What about the vertical scale? Is it consistent? Yes, then we shall score you for that. What about the horizontal distance? Is it consistent with the distance in the question? Yes, then we shall score you for that. So my guidance here is that for you to be able to give the correct responses, one, you must unpack your scenario. You unpack the scenario by understanding which competency is being tested. What am I supposed to do to provide this solution? To be able to help these people to understand the nature of the land or the landscape, I am required to draw a cross what? A cross section. I wanted to bring you to this, that in choosing this area here, I may not reach there, but in choosing, because here I have these two areas here. Here we have, this is the area called Luera, and I think Tinzi is somewhere here. That this is the proposed site for the bridge between this area and this area. These people have all been separated because of the presence of this swamp and the presence of this what? Of this forest. I have chosen this site here because I wanted to advise you on something. Remember, we said earlier that there are integrated topics in MAPO skills, and one of them is so section B. Are resisting the construction of this what? Resisting the construction of the bridge. They have organized a meeting with the community and they have invited you. Write a sensitization message of about 200 words. The reason I have chosen this one here, for example, that the area for construction of the bridge actually has got a what? A to think about that the construction of this bridge is likely to do what? To destroy this forest. Therefore, the sensitization message will be on telling these people the effects of constructing this bridge in this area here. That when you construct, why are the people resisting? But the authorities are still going on. What kind of sensitization message can you give them? Tell them that constructing the bridge in this area is going to lead to the destruction of natural vegetation. It's going to lead to the destruction of this forest. It's going to lead to the loss of biodiversity. Removing this natural vegetation here may when you remove the trees, then you will increase the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Therefore, at the end of the day, we are likely to see global warming. We are likely to see increase in temperatures. We are likely to see crop failure. So that when you are making your opinion, you are able to advise them that whereas it is okay to construct a bridge, why can't they look for another site south of the forest so that they can construct the bridge there and be able to save this what? Be able to save this forest. So those are things that you'll need to think about while you are in the examination room. Those are the things you'll need to unpack from the scenario. They are saying the trade has been restricted by the swamp and the forest. They want to construct this, whatever here. What is your take on that? What sensitization message would you give them? Of course, you will start by introducing in section B and tell us that, you see, this the authority, people who want to construct the bridge have little knowledge about the importance of forests. You can give us a small introduction to the concept of forests. Forests are very important in modifying the climate of the areas where they are because they absorb, through transpiration, they normally lead to heavy rainfall. They absorb the carbon dioxide. Are you still seeing my screen? Are you seeing my
Mr.
screen?
Amberson,
Yes,
please
please.
share your screen again.
Okay. Is it there?
Yes, yes, it's there now.
Okay. So I was guiding here that in choosing this area, I was just being tactical enough to let you see what we started with here at the beginning. That some of the integrated topics in MAPO skills have topics like climate change, like climate and vegetation, like weather and climate. And therefore, when this question is being posed to you, that the authorities are thinking about constructing a bridge from this grid reference to this grid reference, it should come at the back of your mind that the construction of this bridge here is going to lead to the destruction of this forest. If it is destroyed, then we shall have a problem of climate. The weather will change. We shall have climate change. The rivers, the swamps might dry up. So that is the task which is going to come in part B. And they are going to tell you that now you see, you have been invited to a meeting write a sensitization message you would give to the authorities. In your sensitization message now, we want you to integrate the natural vegetation element in this map of scale that I have seen. Yes, these people have got a problem, but the destruction of this forest has got effects on the environment. Give us the effects briefly and give us the measures, and then form a standpoint. In your opinion now, you can even create a recommendation and say, rather than choosing this area here, the area, rather than constructing the bridge in the area between grid reference this and grid reference this, you propose that they should be able to construct the bridge south of the forest because that area is free of natural vegetation. And when they do so, they will be able to save the environment. That is what we call an element of sustainability. The learner's ability to give an opinion with an element of sustainability. Okay. Hope that one I have made my point and made it clearly. Okay, there's this other scenario here, but I think this one is, I've already spoken about something like this. Let me take you to, okay, maybe let's read it since it is here. A volunteer to read for us. Christ the King, S.S. Bulinda. Your hand is up. Please read for us. Bulinda.
The people living in the area shown on the map extract of Lukaya between easting 80 and 88 and northing 82 and 99 have stayed in this area for years. In the recent past, they have noticed the water in the drainage features southeast of the area kept reducing, swamps in the north kept on drying, among others. People are worried as this may lead to death of animals, drying of crops, and death of human beings. The people have no information on what is happening. NEMA officials would want to establish the current size of the lake. They have also organized and invited you to meeting with the members of this community about the situation.
Beautiful. Thank you for that reading. I'll give you 1 minute for the other members also to look at this. And as you look at it, I want you to think about the skills that are being tested here. Maybe also think about which topic has been integrated here. Here we are saying, you may realize that we are now not talking about grid references, but we are talking about grid lines. Meaning, my dear good candidates on this call, you need to understand what eastings are and what northings are. A learner who doesn't have that knowledge may not be able to locate the area that is being referred to. This one here is limiting you to a certain area, an area between easting 8 and 88, and northing 82 and 99. Therefore, this particular area here, we are testing your ability to have learned and understood the grid lines. What are grid lines? Eastings and northings. So a person who does not have the knowledge of the grid lines will find it very difficult to identify the area being referred to here. In this same task or this same scenario here, we are talking about people who have lived in a place for many years. They have noticed that the water in the drainage feature in the southeast is reducing. We have used the word drainage feature here purposely to ensure that the person attempting this task or reading this scenario is able to know what drainage features are. In the other question or the other item, I used the name of the drainage feature, Lake Victoria. In this particular one, we are hiding the name of the drainage feature and only referring to as a drainage feature. So a learner who has not understood chapter 7 well may not be able to identify what a drainage feature in the southeast is. When you notice there in this scenario, we are talking about the area of the lake, the drainage feature is reducing, the swamps are drying up, okay? You will maybe notice that in this particular scenario here, we are trying to integrate the topic of climate, what? Of climate change. So you must mentally prepare yourself that in this scenario, which competence is likely to be being tested. Because here they are telling you the people have got no information on what is happening. They are worried, meaning they have little knowledge about the causes of climate change. And that is going to be the problem statement. Let us look at the, okay, this one here. We are saying the NEMA officials would wish to establish the current size of the water body. I think now here you get to know the skill that is being tested. Somebody wants to tell us when we say the NEMA officials would wish to establish the current size, what kind of advice? What do you think, what skill do you think is being tested? Yes, somebody has raised up the hand there. Please unmute and tell us. Hello. Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Christ the King Church. Christ the King.
Yes.
Yes. What skill do you think is being tested?
Here, which has been tested is the skill of calculation distance, map extract, especially
Distance?
the area covered by,
Okay,
the
very
area
good.
covered.
The area covered by the water body, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, you will go to what we have said, apply the formula. We are testing your ability to apply the formula, be able to count the full and half squares so that you can be able to tell the area, the current size of the water body. Then there's this one here, which is saying these people want to visit the area. What skill do you think is being tested there? The name of officials need to guide what skill is being tested. How do you guide the people visiting the area? We are looking at your ability to draw a sketch, what? A sketch map, so that you can guide these people about this area. Part B, let me say something briefly about part B. I have dwelt so much on part A because I see that is where most of our problems are likely to come. The inability of these learners to be able to come up with the expected map of skills. But to sum it up under part A, the major thing I want you to take is that we shall be testing the skills. What are the map of skills? We are not going to ask you the direct skills like we did in the past. Determine the area, no. Determine the distance, no. Determine the bearing, no. We shall give you problems which require you to apply the knowledge of those skills to be able to provide a solution. Briefly, okay, these ones I've already talked about it, about the integrated topics, that in part B, you're going to find integrated topics in MAPO skills. And these are some of them: the earth and district movements, weather and climate and natural vegetation, major climate zones, further skills in map reading and map use. And this one are going to come in scenario form. Like you have read up there in this scenario here. You have read this scenario here. And they are telling you that the people in the area have noticed that the water in the drainage feature is reducing. The swamps are drying. People are worried. They have invited you for a meeting. Now, part B is going to ask you, this for a sensitization message you are going to present during the meeting. Write a sensitization message. What advice are you going to give in the meeting? I'm asking you that which topic do you think has been integrated in this task? What topic among the ones I talked about here? What topic do you think has been integrated in this scenario and task? We said that this question here is integrating topics here, the earth and this movement, weather and climate, natural vegetation, climate change, etc. So when we come to this scenario here, what do you think? Which topic do you think has been integrated here from those topics I mentioned up there? Participants, where are you? What topics do you think have been incorporated in this scenario from the topics I mentioned above? Hello. Hello. Are they still there? My participants, are you still there? Okay.
Mr.
Maybe.
Masan,
Yes,
we can
please.
hear you well.
Oh, great. So in this particular task here,
yes,
hello? Are you
yes.
hearing? Okay. So in this task here, you are going to discover that they have integrated something about climate change, about weather and climate. That is why we are saying in the recent years, the inhabitants of the area have discovered that the drainage future, the water has kept reducing, the swamps are drying. So even you, when you are going to provide us the responses, that is a question I want you to ask yourself. Where am I going to get the information to be able to present maybe a sensitization message, maybe to be able to give advice? I'm going to get it from my lessons of weather and climate, and maybe my lessons of climate change. That is what we are meaning by integrated topics. That in part A, you will be tested on macro skills. How do you apply bearing when you are able to help a pilot fly a plane, turn at this and find a location? How are you going to apply the skill of determining area when you are able to advise those surveyors I talked about that, oh, if you are only covering 2 kilometers squared per day, you will need 10 days. When are you going to apply the skill of drawing? When you are able to draw a sketch map of the area and be able to help the rescue team from the Red Cross Society to reach the accident, the scene of the accident. So maybe you are not going to find the questions which are draw a sketch map, draw a cross-section. Upon, we are going to give you problems and you'll have a duty to provide solutions while applying the skills we have taught you in MAPWA. In part B of the question, you will need to identify a problem which will be related to what we are calling integrated topics: climate, weather, natural vegetation, etc. So here, that's what I was talking about, integrated skills. And so in this one here, that is now where you are going to unpack the scenario. And in unpacking the scenario, this is very important. In item 1, part B, you will be required to unpack the scenario and demonstrate the following competencies. 1, identification of the problem. 2, description of the problem where applicable. 3, provide responses to the problem. And number 4, form a personal opinion. I will just highlight, because the time is running out, what I had put here. So the basis of assessment, the first basis of assessment will be your ability to identify the problem. And in identifying the problem, we only need a problem statement. Don't write for us a whole page explaining the problem, no. I have just put the following words to guide you. We shall, for example, a learner can say, there is lack of knowledge about the causes of climate change. The community in Lukaya lacks knowledge about the effects of climate change. There is inadequate knowledge about the effects of climate change among the community members in Lukaya. The Lukaya community is ignorant about this. There's limited information. I'm just giving you this as the point starters to be able to limit people who are too wordy that this is going to be a problem statement and we just need one sentence of the problem statement. The people in Lukaya lack knowledge about the causes of climate change. The people in Lukaya are ignorant about this. The people in Lukaya have limited information about this. In that, you'll be identifying the problem. Basis of assessment number 2, we shall require you to give us a simple introduction. I'm even hesitant to call it an introduction, but provide a simple and brief 2-statement description of the key concept in the problem. For example, it could be a definition. What is climate change? Another person could give us areas affected by the concept. Maybe if it is another person could give us the types of the key areas in the concept. For example, if it is pollution, in your simple brief description, you can simply tell us the different types of pollution. It could be the methods of the key concept. For example, if the concept being tested is mining, you can simply tell us what mining is, and you outline some methods of mining. So the main methods of mining include open cast, underground, the ones you know. Basis of assessment number 2 in geography will be testing your ability to understand and briefly in 2 statements, 2 to 3 statements, describe the concept of the problem, in the problem. Could be by defining it. Another part, after defining it, you could give us examples. You could define it and tell us the different methods. You could define us and tell us where they are areas which are affected by the same concept. You are giving us a brief description of the concept to tell us that you understand what you are going to talk about. And indeed, I'm insisting that this be a brief description. There are people who are going to write a whole booklet describing the problem. No, it should be a simple statement to direct the assessor that I know what I'm talking about. There is a problem of, there is limited knowledge of the causes of climate change. Go ahead now and give a brief description. Climate change is the process whereby these earthly temperatures are gradually increasing. Can give us an example of areas where it is a global phenomenon now. Everybody is talking about it. The learner is telling you that they know the concept of climate change. There's a problem of lack of the causes of effects of this and this. And define the key concept. You are giving us a brief description of the concept. Basis of assessment number 3 is going to require you to provide responses to the competence being assessed in the task. Ladies and gentlemen, learners who are on this call, this is where I want you to put your ears again. What do you think the assessor is or the item developer is looking for? Is he looking for the causes of pollution? Is he looking for the causes of climate change? Is he looking for the effects of climate change? Is he looking for the measures? So when you identify the problem, there is lack of knowledge about the causes. Immediately tell us, because that's the problem. That is the concept. That's the competency being assessed. What are they testing? What are these people assessing? They're assessing the skill of presentation of statistical data. They have given me data. And they are saying use a relevant illustration to portray the data. That is what they are looking, the skill of presenting that data in a statistical form. You are going to find items like item number 5 and number 6. If you looked at, for example, the sample test paper that was sent to you. In the past, for your friends who went the other years, we used to ask them only to draw. But when you look at, for example, item 6 in the sample test paper, they have drawn for you a comparative bar graph. They want you to analyze the trends of trade and be able to conclude that what I am seeing here is an unbalanced, is an unfavorable balance of trade. And okay, if it is unfavorable balance of trade, so what? Then you provide the responses that the people in Uganda need to add value to their products to be able to attract export markets. That these people in Uganda, we need to improve the linkage in transport between the rural areas and this. To be able, we need to improve digital marketing of our products. We need to advertise them so that we can get a favorable balance of what? Of trade. So ladies and gentlemen, basis of assessment number 3 is an area where you are going to put some weight. Plan your essay. Plan. Discover, DEAR principle, ability to discover, to explain, to analyze, and apply. Daring. I will need to discover which competency is being assessed. Is it the causes? Is it the effects? Are they the measures? Do they want me to represent statistical data on a graph? They have given me this graph. What do they want? They want me to look at the trend of population growth and be able to tell that the causes of this trend is early pregnancy, improved medical facilities, ABCD, and then provide the measures. Basis of assessment number 4 is going to require you to provide a personal opinion about the concept. The best way for you to get a personal opinion, you will get it from the measures. Once you identify the effects, identify the measures, then build on any one of the measures there. If the products, if our products get value addition, then they are going to attract foreign markets. When they attract the foreign markets, then we shall get more income. When we get more income, then we shall be able to afford our basic necessities, meaning our standards of living are going to improve. The person is giving an opinion. If you have been looking at maybe the effects of climate change, you have provided the measures, afforestation, reforestation, those measures we normally give. Choose any one of them and build on it as your basis, your personal opinion. That if the forests, if reforestation is carried out in the atmosphere, meaning we shall also reduce the effects of global warming. If afforestation is done, it means the rainfall is going to increase. If the rainfall increases, food production will increase. We shall have more to eat and sell. The family incomes will improve and our standard of living will improve. I deal with the basis on which you can provide or can write a personal opinion. I want to thank you so much for being a good audience. I want to thank you for being on this call. I wish to end here, unless if there are some things in the chat, Stephen, you can guide me, and so that we can respond to them, and we put off this call. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ambasan. I think let's take a few questions because it is already supper time for some schools and the children must be in for supper. So we are going to start
Okay.
with Bolongot Seed Secondary School. Kindly unmute and ask a question. In case we have schools that want to have some questions, Lobongot, you can go on.
They could also get to my WhatsApp.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Thank you, sir. Mbasan. My question goes to example 2, where there is pilot flying, and they are asking the runner what kind of assistance can you give to Ambassador. But I have my suggestion here. If the runner draws a map, can he or she be marked right or wrong?
The learner is very right.
Because here a runner can draw a map and direct this person who is stranded on the way. So can
Very
you
good.
mark him or her right? Wrong. Thank you, sir, for listening.
Okay, thank you. And I think that is why we are now running away from the idea of draw a sketch map. That is why we are now saying use a relevant illustration. The learner may draw a compass and show you the direction that from Lukaya town, please fly in the northeast direction and you'll be able to reach the church. The learner could draw a sketch map. So we are giving the learners the opportunity to exercise the competencies that they have achieved through the different skills. The learner would be right under the circumstances. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ambasan. Busoga College, kindly unmute. Yes, kindly go on.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity that you've given unto us. And we just had a few inquiries. One, where do we state the problem as we identify it in our essay? Is it as to state it as the title or somewhere else?
Okay, thank you. The problem statement is going to be the very first statement you state for us. Dear community members, there is a problem of lack of knowledge about this. There is inadequate, it's just the first statement you will state. Like you normally introduce whenever you are answering questions, it is not going to be like a heading, no, it's a problem statement. Don't even mark it as a problem statement. The assessors will find it there. Because for you, you have the privilege of being on this call, you will definitely state it first. But we are also aware that there are people who may state the problem later. We shall also score them from there when they finally bring the problem statement. So a problem statement is just the core of what you have unpacked in the scenario. I have discovered that there's a problem of this. I've noticed that there's a problem of lack of knowledge about the causes of this. That is key statement number 1. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ambasan. Let me first start with Our Lady of Fatima. Our Lady of Fatima, unmute. In case Our Lady is failing, we shall give the opportunity to Mother Kevin, comprehensive. Mother Kevin, comprehensive, unmute. Oh, Mother Kevin, we are failing to get you. Ebenezer.
If a learner draws a map, if a learner draws a cross section and fails to answer, and she or he fails to shade, will that learner be marked? Or?
That one you become you. I would advise that we stop taking certain things for granted, because we have guided you in the classroom and said that it is very important to shape, because you must differentiate a cross section from a line graph. You are putting the assessor in a situation where they think that you are not properly grounded, and under the circumstances, you may be rated. You may rated as a basic learner and not an outstanding learner. Yes, you'll be marked, but you could score at the lower end, not at the higher end. You'll be marked. You have tried to draw a cross-section, but you can only score 1. The one that has shaded has an advantage of being an outstanding.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ambasan. Let's have Kasese Muslim.
I'm supposed to see them.
Kasese Muslim, unmute.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our question is about, like, first of all, like, when you are given a question, like, to make a cross section, will you formulate it like, you say a cross section about, then you put your futures there, or you just say a cross section? So the second question is like, the second question is like, is field work there amongst those questions? Thank you.
Okay, one, when you say a cross-section, again, I want to guide that for every title that you put in a geographic concept, or in representing geographic information, 2 things are very basic. The first one is, what are you drawing? What? I'm drawing a cross-section. Number 2, the title must be informative. What does the drawing show? So a candidate who says a cross-section, and a candidate who says a cross-section of the area between this and this, showing physical and man-made features, certainly you realize that those learners are different. They are not the same. One of the learners is basic, another one is outstanding. About fieldwork is a method of teaching and learning geography. So we have now moved away from doing fieldwork to answer one question. Nowadays, we do fieldwork to answer the whole paper. For you to be able to attempt the 6 items, we presume that you have done fieldwork. And you have done fieldwork and understood the concepts, or as many concepts or learning outcomes in the syllabus book. So you are not going to find a question which says, for anyone fieldwork study you have carried out. No. But all the 6 items being tested have got some element of fieldwork in them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we are going to answer Gombe High School. Gombe, unmute. Gombe, I'm failing to get Gombe. Ebenezer, any of those schools, Gombe, unmute, or Ebenezer, or Odrav from Ube district. Odrav, go on.
Yes, thank you, my dear presenter. In most cases, the questions vary from one to the other. Sometimes they say, write a keynote, and the format is drafted. Is it also that when you are asked to write letter in a question, will you also use the same format of such a letter or the speech to write the keynotes about the question?
Hello? Okay.
Hello.
What you're asking me is related to protocol, not so.
Yes.
That they have asked me to write a letter. Are they looking for the features of a good letter? Not so?
Yes, it's sure.
Now, write a letter, write a sensitization message. The background to competence-based was integration. That is why the assessments you have been doing, we have been calling them activities of integration. What are you integrating? I am integrating knowledge. I'm integrating subjects. I am integrating concepts. That is why under activities of integration, we had what we call the basis of assessment. I would assess you using only one base. I would assess you using two bases. If I'm using one base, then I would score you out of 10. If I'm using two bases, I would score you out of 19. And so on and so, because at that time, at school-based assessment, we are looking at your ability to integrate. That a competent person, a person moving out of Bravo, is a person who has studied these subjects and can use them in all situations outside the school. When we come to end of cycle assessment, we are mainly looking at content. The other one of the whatever has been assessed at the school, you have even been scored under activities of integration. So now when we are going into the end of cycle assessment, integrating is good, but the core of assessment is going to be on the content. So the bureaucracy of protocol and so on may not be so useful. After all, you are already scored for writing a good letter in an activity of integration, but that is the core of this of the language of the jargons we are using, write a sensitization message, because every task is going to require you to come up with a solution, and this solution can only be delivered in form of an advice, in form of recommendations, in form of suggestions. So that kind of language will continue, but at activity of integration, yes, the assessor may choose to take the protocol and say, under base number 1, I'm looking at the quality of a good letter. Under base number 2, I'm looking for the competencies in geography. That is at activity of integration level. In the end of cycle assessment, the basis of assessments are mainly targeting the subject content. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you. We are going to take on just one more question.
Yes, please.
From Justin Akimba.
Okay.
Justin? Oh, in case we fail to get Justin, then we are going to take from... Okay, Justin, go on.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. My question is about the landscape sketch drawing. Like when we are given to draw the landscape, the sketch, are we allowed to put the major eastings and northings, or we don't indicate them? We only draw what has been directed to us.
Okay, what you are drawing is a sketch map. What you are drawing is a sketch map, and therefore we are looking for the ability of the learner to put the features in their relative positions. Indicating the grid lines is good, but it will not score you because what you are drawing is a sketch map. So don't waste a lot of time. You can put 1 or 2 major lines, it is okay. It helps you in determining accuracy, but apparently it does not differentiate you from a person that has not put there the major grid lines, but has put the features in their relative positions, because what you are drawing is a sketch map. That is why we even insist that the title should be a sketch map of the area, because you are not drawing it to scale, and therefore putting the major grid lines is good, but will not separate you very much in terms of scores, because what you are drawing is a sketch map, and we only need to see features in their relative positions and not in their exact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mbasan, for the
Yes.
wonderful presentation. Dear teachers and the students, we may not go any further from this point because we understand that you must go in for your supper, and some of you are day scholars, you must walk back to your homes before it gets very late. But understand you may have questions, and you may need Mr. Mbasan maybe to come at your school. You may need him to come and offer more assistance. Kindly take note of his numbers. You can send a WhatsApp message. You can send him an email. He will be able to respond. But also we shall request, in case time allows, we shall have another session before you go in for your final examinations. But we do believe that the information you have received is enough to help you do well in your mock examination. We want to thank all the teachers and all the school administrators that have been on the call, that have helped the children to connect online. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sacrificing the data and everything you are doing to ensure that we have the children connect online. So tomorrow we shall have a similar session. We shall have a similar session coming in tomorrow, and we want to let you know that it will also be a very productive session. Please keep time tomorrow, and we promise we shall start on time for tomorrow's session also. But in case of any questions, kindly, you can send them directly to us, or you can send them directly to Mr. Mbasan, and then he will be able to offer assistance. So tomorrow, according to our program, we shall have physics facilitation tomorrow, and we shall mainly be dealing with paper one, that is the theoretical paper, but still we shall go further to talk about a few things in the practical bit. So in case you have questions in those areas, please feel free to prepare them early such that you can offer the assistance that you do need tomorrow. I want to thank Mr. Mbasan so much for the great session you have been able to offer to this country. Thank you so much for all the sacrifices you are making to see that our children learn and benefit from the knowledge you have in this field of geography. We can't thank you enough, but we want to thank you so much for everything you are doing, and we want to thank everyone that has joined this call. So when you check on the screens, those are the numbers we can use to reach out to Mr. Steven to come and maybe facilitate in your school, or maybe to come, or in case you have any questions, kindly feel free to send him a message. He will be able to respond. Unless Mr. Mbasan, you have some concluding remarks before we close off the session.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much, Stephen, and thank you everybody who has been on this call. Today, I've dwelled so much on item 1. Another day, we shall deal with item 2, part 1 and part 2 of section B. Yeah, if opportunity comes, I will be happy to be back here. I want to thank Helep and everybody who is putting up this program. Yeah, this is what it takes. It's something new, and I mean, we just need information. The trends are changing, and if we don't change with change, then change will change us. I thank you once again. I can't thank you more, but I feel good for the kind of sacrifice you're making for this country. I send regards to all the participants who have been on this call. Please cheers and have a good night.
Thank you so much. Those schools that still have their children with them, kind of feel free to switch on your camera. You can switch on your camera.
Cool.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. Let's meet tomorrow for the English seminar. Oh, sorry, for physics seminar tomorrow. Bye-bye.